Okay, day 125, Hillary's Henchmen. This is going to be kind of a catch-up so you can get other people involved in the series now. I'm going to summarize. We started this series on 125 days ago when Eric Braverman, the ex-CEO of the Clinton Foundation, made a run for the embassy in New York, the Russian embassy, because he had lost faith in the FBI. So that's a disputed report, but that's when we started. The other thing that came out was a True Pundit article saying that the 650,000 emails of her assistant, Huma Abedin, were discovered on Anthony Weiner's laptop, and the chief of detectives, a man by the name of Boyce in New York, said that there was all kinds of child trafficking, sex exploitation, extortion, money laundering, and perjury on those. So that's what caught my interest and why I started the series. What happened over the next 125 days is we looked at all the ways that Hillary uses NGOs and NGO covers to create topples around the world, toppling governments, and also spying on her political enemies. The topples were through the Muslim Brotherhood, so we showed how she got the Muslim Brotherhood Stinger missiles and sarin gas, and contracted with people like General Grange here of Osprey Global to overthrow at least Libya and Syria, probably also Sudan and Congo and other countries as well in South America, maybe Honduras. But also from the very beginning, I mentioned that her spy, as far as domestic spying goes, electronic surveillance in the U.S., was Andrew McCabe. He is the number 2 man at the FBI. He is the guy who went to the White House and said the Russia story was hoax story was total bullshit. I think if you remember in the series, I said not only is he the person who created the Russia hoax for Trump and Paul Manafort and Michael Flynn and just the whole story, which he himself has now called total bullshit. But I also said he was the guy who did the surveillance on the Clinton Foundation employees and found out Eric Braverman was the leak. There was a famous Podesta email where they were trying to find the leak at the Clinton Foundation and they fingered Eric Braverman. I not only said that, but I went back to Wall Street contributions that Hillary received in the early 2000s from people like Martha Stewart and the use of electronic surveillance back then to extort contributions. But I went back even further to show how she used electronic surveillance. And I'm not talking about Bill Clinton here. She was the henchman in this. How Andrew McCabe provided surveillance against opponents of impeachment for Bill Clinton, and how they used surveillance to destroy the careers of 3 of the key people that voted for the impeachment in the House. So as you remember, the House passed impeachment and the Senate didn't confirm it. In this process, we've identified companies that Hillary has used to, after she's overthrown the company with a country with somebody like General Grange, she's used this corporation called DynCorp, who basically trains police officers. And instead of training police officers to do good policing, they end up setting up these drug rat line, what we call rat lines, drugs, sex trafficking, and even organ harvesting. And that started really, the organ harvesting started in Kosovo, and we show again and again how she's done it in country after country. And we also asked the question, the use of DynCorp in the United States through the FBI, the counterterrorism division of the FBI, to create a militaristic set of police forces and sheriff's offices to be used against an enemies list in the United States. So just like the original McCabe electronic surveillance on her political enemies was very small in the beginning, now that list is expanded to the deplorables list, the 3 million people on the terrorism watch list. And of course, in the United States, you can't even find out if you're on the terrorism watch list. So my recommendations have been in this investigation that the 650,000 emails that are on Huma's server that police chief said had the child trafficking and all the other crimes that were being committed, those FBI documents show that those are from 19 different people who worked at the State Department that had Gmail accounts. My recommendation has been to publish at least the metadata so we know at least who the emails were from, who they were to, what the subject was, and what the date was. So we get an idea of some kind of honesty. The fact that Andrew McCabe here has taken a $675,000 bribe through his wife through a very close Hillary friend. The fact he's kind of walled off the investigation of Haiti and all the problems the Clinton Foundation had in Haiti by walling it off with the Miami office. The fact that he took quid pro quo. He accepted more agents. He asked for more agents overseas in exchange for reclassifying Hillary's email, and he's destroyed evidence. So he's at the center of this battle right now. He is the Trump leaker. Trump knows he's the Trump leaker. So that's why we're shifting a little bit more to domestic now. And I'll leave everyone with the last comment that a former assistant FBI director said about Mr. McCabe here, who's handling the investigation of not only Hillary's emails, but also Huma's 650,000 emails, unbelievably. No grand juries, no subpoenas, no court orders, immunity for all the co-conspirators, letting the co-conspirators in on the interview. I guess these are these are crazy things the FBI never does. And I would add to that, not filming, not releasing filmed interviews, not putting people under oath. I would add to that as well. Of course, the State Department or the FBI wants 5 years to go through these emails. And the crux of this investigation is really to keep that day counter going and keep the pressure up on Trump to get Jeff Sessions to publish these 650,000 emails and drain the swamp. That's the update.